supplement, literally the greatest supplement.
One of the ones that actually works.
That exists. It works. It improves your health. It's good for cognitive function. It helps you build muscle, burn body fat. Actually, might even raise testosterone, anti-inflammatory. Yes, I sold creatine, but that's because it's very well studied and it's a very, very good supplement for most people to take. Dosages. Okay, here's what they typically recommend, about 5 grams a day. I think that's a very general kind of overkill. I would say if you eat a decent amount of red meat, which already has creatine in it, and your average build, I would say you're probably okay with about 3 grams a day. Now, if you have a lot of muscle mass, you probably want to take a little more than that. If you don't eat a lot of red meat, especially if you're vegan, creatine makes a huge difference. In fact, the cognitive boost studies are pretty consistent with vegans. If they take creatine, they get a pretty measurable cognitive boost from taking it. So anywhere between 3 to 5 grams a day is probably the best dose.
Now, I think almost every one I've ever seen, whether it be pill or powder, the serving size is normally 5 grams.
Yes.
And you don't see any problem with somebody taking 2 over even if they eat.
I'm just saying it from a saving.
Because by the way, the amount of steak you have to eat just to get 3 grams of creatine is a lot.
It's like a pound.
It's a lot. It's a lot more than that. It's more than that to get 3 grams.
Really?
Yeah.
How much creatine, Doug, in a pound of steak? If you could look that up, because I think it's around. You're right. I think it's like 2 grams.
Yeah. So I would only recommend if it's someone's like you eat red meat every day at least once or twice, then maybe you can go lower. Otherwise, I normally just tell people 5 grams.
Are they still promoting a loading phase? I remember doing that when I was younger, and I remember eating an excessive amount in the beginning.
Yeah. So
was it Celtech the ones that did it first?
Oh wow! See, there we go.
It's like 5 days of loading. Yeah. It's almost like triple the dose.
Yeah. So I want to address that, but real quick, 1 pound of raw beef or salmon, 1 to 2 grams of creatine. Yeah, you're right, Adam. So it's not.
That's a lot too, by the way.
Yeah, a pound.
Yeah, a pound. Yeah. So most people, a big serving of meat is like 8 ounces. So if you're got to be eating at least 2 servings of probably steak or salmon a day.
I eat at least a pound a day, so I'm somebody that eats a lot, but most people don't. Now, back to what you're saying, Justin, the loading phase. So a lot of companies will promote what's called a loading phase, where for the first 7 days of using creatine, you take 15 to 20 grams a day, and then you back down to 5 grams. Now, the reason why they promote this is studies show. So here's what happens with creatine, right? You take creatine, and you start to saturate the body with this creatine. And there's a certain period of time that it takes to saturate the muscles. After that, you're taking creatine just to maintain that saturation level. Loading saturates the body a little bit faster. So will you get that saturation faster from loading? Yes. Is it that big of a difference? Enough to waste that much creatine? Not in my opinion.
It would make me sick. Yeah. It's just not worth it from that perspective.
Now, to that point, though, you would say that it's pretty important to be consistent, though, with it when you take it
daily,
especially at the beginning, right?
Yes, 5 grams. I always say 5 grams a day. It's a good, anywhere between 3 to 5 grams every single day is the way to do it. Now, what about time to take it? Now, in the past, I would have said it doesn't make that big of a difference.
They say post-workout.
Yeah, studies now are showing that post-workout, you utilize a lot more of it by taking it right after.
I feel like that's kind of common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like when you're depleted like that, like your muscles, your cells, everything's like
they're
a
more
sponge.
receptive.
Yeah, they're all like a sponge, ready to suck up any sort of nutrients or supplement you take. So
here's a little muscle boosting hack for those of you that are watching or listening right now that really want to feel and see an effect from natural means. Try this. Post-workout, take your 5 grams of creatine and also consume a good 400 to 600 milligrams of cholesterol. So egg yolks, or you can do organ meats or whatever. Cholesterol's got a muscle building effect. It's got a protective effect. The creatine gets absorbed by the body, and your body does utilize cholesterol as you're recovering or whatever. So do those 2 things. Try that for like a few weeks and watch what happens.
Didn't you bring up a study a long time ago of actually combining that with red light too?
Red light. Oh, okay. So
isn't that like the monster, right?
Yeah. So red light therapy increases the ATP production of the mitochondria in your cells. This is why that's why it works, right? So it makes sense to combine it with creatine because you're trying to boost ATP. Red light plus creatine, you should have this kind of synergistic effect.